So finally, after what seems like forever, Nintendo has officially revealed their next generation Nintendo Switch 2. And while we know that there's going to be a Nintendo Switch 2 focused presentation happening with a Nintendo Direct on April 2nd, it is still a little while away, and so I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to make more videos for you guys to help make that wait a little bit easier, because that's really when we're going to get like our deep dive and really learn everything there is to know about the system. And while me and so many other people are very excited for the next generation Nintendo Switch 2, there's also been a lot of really bad and horrible takes that I've been seeing about the system from a variety of people, because this announcement has finally kind of reached like the mainstream people who don't really like watch a lot of video game news and all of that. And so because of that, there's been a lot of really weird things that people have been saying. So I figured I'd talk about some of these and give you guys my thoughts as well, because I feel like it is a pretty interesting discussion to have. Now this first thing I've seen a lot of people saying, and I'm guessing these are kind of just like the mainstream people who didn't keep up to date with like the newest information from Nintendo and stuff as it was coming out, as a lot of people were just saying, oh, it's just the Nintendo Switch again. Because the thing is, when Nintendo's president announced that they were making a next generation Nintendo Switch successor, when this was announced like back in May of last year, he even said in that meeting specifically to think of it as like a next model to the Nintendo Switch. And so with all the rumors and things too, like we all knew to kind of expect that it was going to be a next generation Nintendo Switch or like a Nintendo Switch 2, but I'm guessing some people just thought Nintendo was going to do something completely different and like a total departure from the Switch. And to that, I really don't know what to say, because I feel like a majority of Nintendo fans kind of just wanted the Nintendo Switch again, but wanted it to be more capable and more powerful so that their games could run better and that we could have better next generation experiences. And it really makes a lot of sense, because I feel like Nintendo has found something very special with the Nintendo Switch, and I think they themselves also realize that too, and that's why they kind of painted themselves into a corner with the Nintendo Switch also, as because of its massive success and the massive appeal to it, I feel like if they did anything else different, there definitely would have been people upset. The Switch has just become a part of everyone's lifestyle with how you can take it with you on the go and play it on the TV, and I've seen so many of your guys' comments on my videos talking about how much you love your Nintendo Switch. I think one time there was like a truck driver who replied to one of my videos saying that he loves his Nintendo Switch because he's always on extremely long trips where he's gone for days, where he has to drive like a truck across the entire country, and because of that he loves having his Nintendo Switch with him, because whenever he gets to like a rest stop or something and wants to take a break for a few hours, he just pulls out his Nintendo Switch and plays it on the truck for a little bit until it's time to go again. And that's so cool that you can do that with this system. Meanwhile, other people just like really love to come home after a long day, get really cozy on the couch and play their Nintendo Switch really comfy on the TV, and that's something that you can do as well. It's just a very cool system. And so if a next generation Nintendo system was announced and it was another dedicated handheld where you could only play it on the small screen that it comes with on the system, there would be a lot of people disappointed that you can't have this connect to your big flat screen TV anymore. And alternatively, if they release just a really powerful like home console type of system where you have to hook it up to your flat screen TV and you can have it in your living room or something, but you can't take it with you on the go, there would be a lot of people really missing the aspect of the Switch where you could play all your games with you on the go, and really missing that ability to take that system with them wherever they went. And Nintendo has really found like a special level of success with the Nintendo Switch. I don't think that even they were expecting it to get as big as it did, and coming from the Wii U, I think that they were just hoping for the Nintendo Switch to be like a moderate success and get some people back to playing on Nintendo again, but definitely not becoming the third best-selling video game system of all time, and still having potential to get even higher and maybe even becoming the best-selling video game system of all time. So I really feel like after they saw that, it was probably when they solidified their decision to just continue and make a Nintendo Switch 2, but maybe before then they had some other ideas for stuff that they could do after the Nintendo Switch if it didn't turn out to be as big as it did. And really, if the Nintendo Switch 2 also brings the same level of success, then Nintendo might just have found kind of like their special way of having games, and then just have like a Nintendo Switch 3 after this and a Nintendo Switch 4, because I really don't see them ever kind of having to go back to having dedicated handhelds and home consoles again, because having just one Nintendo platform with everything merged together is so nice, whereas like back in the day having like Smash Bros only on home console, having Pokemon only on handhelds, like I really don't want to go back to that anymore. Now, there's also been a handful of complaints about the design, saying that it looks very similar to the current Nintendo Switch and Nintendo barely changed anything. And to that, I just say, well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. The current Nintendo Switch already kind of perfected the design. I really like the Joy-Cons. I think that they're pretty cool. I like how they have motion in them. I like how you can put them onto the side of the system. I love that you can have them as two separate controllers and hand them to somebody else to play like a multiplayer game. I think it's a really cool concept and everything was already kind of made, but they kind of just needed to tweak some stuff and make it a little bit better, which we got to see with like the kickstand, as it's going to be more kind of angular and you could put it on different angles and stuff, like with the OLED. We also got to see that the Joy-Cons are going to be bigger now, so they should be a little bit more ergonomic for people who have bigger hands. The S, L, and SR buttons on the side of the Joy-Cons are going to be bigger now, so that's going to be easier to use when you have to press the trigger buttons in multiplayer games. And really, they kind of just tweaked a lot of the designs and things to kind of just make it a little bit better, but they didn't really need to do like an entire design overhaul. Like, we didn't need to see like rectangular Joy-Cons or something completely different because none of that was really necessary. Now, there's also been a handful of people saying that the Nintendo Switch 2 is very kind of soulless, or that Nintendo has lost like their innovation, because Nintendo has always tried to do something kind of very unique or interesting with their systems, like having 3D on the 3DS, or a second screen with the Wii U, or motion controls with the Wii and stuff. And the thing is, I feel like people don't understand is that Nintendo pretty much always used to just have standard upgrades when it came to their systems. It was really kind of after realizing that power wasn't the way to go where they decided to do something else with like having the GameCube and then having like the Wii with motion controls and all of that. But back in the day, like going from the NES to the SNES, that was literally just an NES but more powerful. The N64 was an SNES but more powerful. And I mean, it's looking like that's what they're trying to do again with the Nintendo Switch, because like I said earlier, they found something very successful with the Nintendo Switch. They don't really need to reinvent the wheel and have like some crazy gimmick or something completely different with this system. And it's not even like the Nintendo innovation, creativity, and magic disappeared all of a sudden with the Nintendo Switch 2, because this system is still looking like it's going to have some very cool, unique features that are going to be exclusive only to this system that we've never seen before on anything else. And we've already kind of heard rumors that the Nintendo Switch 2 Joy-Cons are going to have some type of mouse capability. We already got to see, even in the reveal trailer, they already showed the optical laser sensor on the Joy-Cons, so it is actually there. And it even seemed like they kind of teased this capability with how we got to see like these Joy-Con kind of sliding around on a table like little mice. So it definitely seems like this could be a very cool, unique feature that's going to be for the Nintendo Switch 2. And with how Nintendo could incorporate this into some of their games, that is already one of those like brand new innovations and creative new features that we've seen. It's just not in your face like how motion controls were with the Wii, but this could definitely be something very cool and unique, because how many other video game systems do you know that have like a mouse capability like that built into the controller? Now, by far, one of the biggest things that I've seen people complaining about was the name for the system, where I've seen tweets that have gotten almost 50,000 likes where somebody here said, oh, they actually called it the Nintendo Switch 2? They did it. They found a name for a Nintendo console worse than Wii U. And to that, all I gotta say is I am glad that none of you guys are going into marketing, because this is specifically a name to avoid it being a Wii U situation. Nintendo calling it the Switch 2 is probably the smartest, safest, and best decision for them to do. And I will admit that I was kind of hoping that they were going to do something else and maybe call it like the Super Nintendo Switch and have like the colorful buttons on it, like what was rumored and stuff. But honestly, I'm very satisfied with them calling it the Nintendo Switch 2, because it makes it very easy to get the point across that this is a next generation, next iteration to the Nintendo Switch. It forces everybody, when they're referring to the system, to have to say the number 2 next to it at the very end, and that makes it very easy to tell people that this is a brand new Nintendo Switch. One of the biggest reasons why the Wii U was such a failure was because of the name, and inside of all the marketing they kept saying like, it's a system for us, but is it a Wii for you, or how you will play next, and it really just didn't get the point across that this was a next generation, next iteration successor to the Wii. And obviously the controller was also another big problem too, because of how they marketed that, and inside of the first reveal they kept saying like, this is the new controller, how you will draw on the new controller, how you will play on the new controller. So people never understood that it was a brand new console to begin with. But even just the name of it, like if they just called it the Wii 2, it would have gotten the point across that this is a next generation, next iteration of Wii. And it really seems like they wanted to avoid all of that happening with having any type of creative or different name for the Switch, and that's definitely the smartest decision that they could have done. Now, there's also been some people upset at this screen where it talks about backwards compatibility, as it says right here, certain Nintendo Switch games may not be supported on or fully compatible with Nintendo Switch 2. And for some reason, people are blowing this way out of proportion, saying that, oh, Nintendo lied to us. They told us back in November that it was going to be backwards compatible on the Switch successor, and now they're saying some games aren't going to work on it. Guys, they're just saying this because they can't say that every single game is going to work on the Nintendo Switch 2, because some games were literally made to only work with the original Nintendo Switch in terms of its hardware and the way that it was designed, so obviously it's not going to work on the Switch 2. I think the one that should come to mind for everyone is Labo, because Labo was literally made to work on the original Nintendo Switch that came out in March of 2017. In fact, I don't think that even the Nintendo Switch Lite or the Switch OLED are compatible with Labo either, because it was literally designed around the original Nintendo Switch, like the cutouts on the cardboard for where you put the Nintendo Switch device in, how it lines up with like the screen and the goggles to have it with like the VR capabilities, and how you have to use like the Joy-Cons and stuff. That's the type of stuff that they're talking about here, with how it's not going to fit with like the Nintendo Switch 2, and you're not really going to be able to use it with like the Nintendo Switch 2 because the Joy-Cons are going to be bigger, so they're probably not going to fit into the cardboard and stuff like that. And it looks like the Aero camera that was on the bottom of the right Joy-Con on the current Switch has been removed from the Nintendo Switch 2, and I think there was only like 10 or so games that actually use that feature, so those games are probably not going to be compatible with the Switch 2, so it's really just a very, very small amount of games, and that's why they can't just say it's fully backwards compatible. On the Nintendo website here, where they're talking about backwards compatibility with the Switch 2, they've got an entire image here with a lot of the games in the background, and so we can see here they've got like Splatoon 3 in the background, The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, Mario Party Jamboree, Fire Emblem Engage, Super Mario Wonder, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, Smash Ultimate in the corner right here, Xenoblade 3, so really anything that's just like a normal game, you're going to be able to play that on the Switch 2 with backwards compatibility. A lot of people were worrying too much about it, saying here certain Nintendo Switch games may not be supported on or fully compatible. That's really just referring to stuff like Labo and stuff that's using like the IR camera and things like that. Anything that's just like a normal game, you definitely don't have to worry about that not working on the Switch 2. And then finally, the last thing that I've seen people complaining about is how we have to wait all the way until April to get more information about the Switch 2. But the thing about this, I'm actually going to have an entire video about it in the future, is that this is lining up exactly what they did with the current Nintendo Switch as well, where it was revealed in October of 2016, and then we had to wait about 2.5 months until January of 2017, where we got like the big deep dive presentation. So it's essentially the same thing, but this time it's not even like the Wii U, where that system was in a drought. So you had basically nothing while you were waiting for this new information to come out about the Nintendo Switch. With the Switch right now, there's already games that are coming out to it. We've got Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition. That's going to be a massive game to just sink hundreds of hours into. You could honestly spend the rest of 2025 just playing this game, but there's also so many other things to look forward to until we get to April. There's going to be supposedly a Nintendo Direct that's already rumored to happen next month, and that's going to be for more Switch 1 games, so that's already really exciting to have games that you can play right now on your current Switch. We're going to have Pokemon Presents coming very soon. That's finally going to show us what Pokemon Legends ZA looks like. So there's still some very exciting things around the corner, so you really don't have to worry that much about having to wait all the way until April. It makes sense that Nintendo isn't going to have everything available immediately, but there's still some very exciting things to look forward to. But yeah, there you go guys, those are pretty much all of my thoughts about a lot of the backlash and things that people have been saying about the Nintendo Switch 2, and really this is kind of just a vocal minority. A majority of people like myself are still very much excited for the Nintendo Switch 2, and I'm sure a lot of you guys are as well, but this was just kind of an interesting topic to talk about, and I felt like it was worth kind of just having a discussion. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, definitely be sure to click that like button, and also subscribe to the channel as well. I'm definitely gonna have some more videos talking about the Nintendo Switch 2, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on that. Comment down below and let me know what you think about all of this. Are you excited for the Nintendo Switch 2? How do you feel about some of these reactions that other people are having? What are your comments on it? Definitely be sure to comment down below and let me know. But if you don't have anything to say about it, just comment your favorite emoji down below for some engagement. I would really appreciate it. Go follow me on Twitter at Aero so you can be featured in videos, and also join my Discord server as well. We've got a bunch of people in there who are always talking about Pokemon and Smash Bros and Nintendo, so definitely be sure to join that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching.